The first body was found in a drainage ditch near Highway 83, half buried under fallen cornstalks. Sheriff A.S. deputies initially dismissed it as a transient misfortune until the medical examiner noted the precise incision below the ribcage and the symbol etched into the victim's palm, a crude circle bisected by a jagged line. By the time the third victim was discovered 2 counties over, the pattern was undeniable. All were men in their 40s, their bodies posed facing east, their left hands mutilated with the same enigmatic mark. Early investigations floundered in the vastness of the Great Plains. The victims had no obvious connections: a truck driver, a high school agriculture teacher, a part-time mechanic, but each vanished during harvest season. Rural distrust of outsiders stymied interviews. Forensic evidence was scarce. The killer exploited the landscape's indifference, disappearing into backroads where surveillance was non-existent. Detectives grappled with the possibility that the symbol was a red herring, a taunt rather than a clue. The fourth victim broke the pattern. Clara Voss, 38, was found in a soybean field, her body arranged identically to the others, but with one deviation. The symbol on her palm had been burned, not carved. A mother of 2 with no criminal ties, Clara's inclusion upended theories of a vendetta against men. Her death exposed the killer's escalating boldness and his willingness to adapt. Profilers from Quantico descended, dissecting the killer's rituals. The eastern positioning of the bodies suggested a fixation on renewal or sunrise, a metaphor for control. The symbol, though unrecognized by historians or occult experts, was likely personal, a signature declaring ownership. The shift from knife to thermal branding with Clara hinted at a need to refine his art. Psychologists noted the killer's dual nature. Meticulous planning contrasted with impulsive adaptation. He stalked victims familiar with rural routines, implying he blended seamlessly into their world, a local, perhaps even a farmer. The absence of sexual assault or theft pointed to a motive rooted in power, not material gain. His confidence grew with each kill. Clara's murder was a test, a gamble to prove his dominance over unpredictability. The profile painted a man in his late 30s to 50s, likely employed in a trade requiring precision, welding, machinery repair. He harbored deep-seated resentment toward perceived failures, possibly tied to agricultural decline. The symbol might represent a personal creed or a distorted tribute to something lost. Critically, he would have a military or survivalist background, given his ability to navigate remote terrain undetected. The breakthrough came in 2001, when a 5th victim survived. Marlene Haskett, attacked near her barn, fought back, leaving the killer with a deep gash from her shears. Marlene described a man smelling of diesel and wood smoke, his face obscured by a faded bandana. Crucially, she noticed a tattoo on his wrist, an anchor entwined with wheat stalks. The tattoo led investigators to military databases. Of 37 Nebraska veterans with matching ink, only one, Earl Royce, lived within 50 miles of all crime scenes. A former Army engineer turned failed crop duster, Royce had filed for bankruptcy after losing his farm in '96. A search of his property uncovered a rusted toolbox containing knives, a branding iron, and Polaroids of the victims taken weeks before their deaths. Royce was arrested at a gas station outside Kearney, calmly sipping coffee. In his pocket was a notebook filled with sketches of the symbol, alongside dates and coordinates. He offered no resistance, only a faint smile. At trial, prosecutors revealed Royce's journal, detailing his belief that the symbol, a fusion of an army insignia and a plow, would purify the land of weakness. The victims, he wrote, were sacrifices to restore Nebraska's agricultural pride. Clara Voss had been targeted not for gender, but because her family's farm thrived while his collapsed. The case shattered the illusion of safety in rural America. Towns, once resistant to city policing, demanded increased patrols. Profiling courses now emphasize rural socio-dynamics, teaching agents to decode the hidden tensions of small communities. Royce died in prison in 2010, but his symbol lingers. Graffiti, mimicking the mark, sporadically appears on abandoned barns, a morbid homage. For survivors like Marlene, the shadow remains, a reminder that evil thrives not in darkness, but in plain sight. Understanding killers like Royce requires peeling back layers of normalcy. His profile, a man undone by pride, weaponizing tradition, challenges the myth of the lone psychopath. Profiling is not clairvoyance, it's the science of listening to what a crime shouts about its creator. The cornfields taught me that monsters don't hide. They adapt. They shake your hand at county fairs. They remember to ask about your kids. And in the end, that's what chills me most. The banality of the mask, and the patience required to rip it away.